Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dingus Den. And in this episode, we'll be covering The Legend of Wonder Woman. It's a 27 chapter series, but each three chapters is technically like an issue. It's a weird ordeal. But anyway, as usual, I'm joined by Chris, and we are joined by our good friend Kat.
Hi.
And so,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, absolutely, it's great to have you here. Anyway,
Thank you.
this story is written and penciled by Renee DeLiz, and all the inking, coloring, and lettering is done by Ray Dillon. This is actually a husband and wife team that worked on this. And fun fact, it was nominated for an Eisner Award for Best Digital / Webcomic.
And so that's one thing you want to mention is that it was originally released as digital.
Yes, so each of these chapters, 27 chapters, there's like 3 released per month. And so, as you'll see with whatever comic panels I put up, they're all in that format, essentially. And so, they're all in this same format. You could tell it just makes for a shorter comic, to where I thought of every page being essentially every page for a chapter would be one page for the overall issue, is how I viewed it. Is that they just stack together, and that's how it would look. And so I'm very interested in seeing how, if I ever got around to, say, finding a good deal on this comic, because they did put all of it in print, I would be interested in seeing just how that looks in general. But yeah. So before we dive into the specifics of the story, what's everybody's overall opinion on it? Chris?
Well, it was a better version of the movie.
Better version of the movie, yes. Yeah. So this story is very close in many ways to the first Wonder Woman movie we got in 2017. And so as opposed to the last previous episodes, we saw where we were read stories, and then we're going to talk about how we think how it could connect, or what parts of it we could see on the big screen for James Gunn's DCU. But this is going to be a different kind of episode where we're going to be comparing it, I feel like, the entire time back to the movie, since that's I feel like for us, or at least for me, like that was sort of like the first big thing that I knew of as far as like Wonder Woman's origins together. Like I knew of Wonder Woman, but that movie was sort of like the first thing for me to like really see like just mainline Wonder Woman stuff, like just her.
Yeah.
So yeah,
because usually she's always with other characters.
Wonder Woman's just always been one of those characters where I've always liked her, never disliked her at all or anything, but it's just there's so much other stuff to read that I want to read over Wonder Woman. And so this is the first actual like solo Wonder Woman comic I've read, and what's great about this one, as we'll be getting into, is it's a modern retelling of her origins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually surprised how much I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because I like Wonder Woman. I mean, she's not my favorite, but I have enjoyed her in other things and stuff like that, with animated series or the original with Linda Carter TV series and stuff like that. But I was generally surprised overall how much I enjoyed it. So it was a fun read for sure.
It's funny you bring up Linda Carter, because I always look at those early adaptations of comic books as not inaccurate and not necessarily, but more made like they would make more sense in the real world kind of thing, because they didn't have the technology back then, obviously, to make it look as good. So I love watching those two, because like the old Batman, and everything, and old Hulk. It's just something about it. You can connect more with the characters in those shows. So they're not necessarily well made, but they're freaking great.
They are. They are. My son actually liked with the Incredible Hulk, and then the guy, I forget the guy who played Thor in it.
Oh, interesting.
With that, even though it was completely hokey
Mhm.
and totally old school, my kid absolutely loves it. He's all like, "Can we watch it again?" I'm like, "Sure, let me try to find it." So, yeah, I think they still hold up, but
that's cool. Yeah, I did grow up watching a little bit of the old Incredible Hulk, and but yeah. But as far as Wonder Woman goes, while we're here today, talk about this story. We'll just dive right into it here. So, since, as I said earlier, that since every 3 chapters sort of makes up an issue, we're going to be covering it in like 9 blocks then. And so, the first part, we're going to be covering chapters 1 through 3, which makes up issue 1 essentially. And so, with that, it begins with this huge setup where you get to see the Amazons being established, sort of like their whole backstory. You see a lot of Hippola's journey, which is Wonder Woman's mother. You see how she became queen of the island. You see her beating this huge titan, and then just seeing how Themyscira came about in general. And so, and then we'll then show Diana being born, and then we have a bit of a focus on young Diana here. And this is where we get the introduction where she feels like there's something wrong with the island. Yeah. And so then she'll go venture out, and you get to see other parts of Themyscira beyond the city walls, and part of just its beauty and nature. And then, she gets ambushed by some sort of deadly creature, terrifying creature. Anyway, and she's then rescued by somebody named Alkippe, their military general.
Alcippe.
Alcippe? Oh, thank you. Alcippe. Alcippe.
Close enough.
All right.
Close enough.
Anyway, terrible with name pronunciations. All right, I'm going to butcher every single name possible here.
That's
anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, Alcippe, which is their military general, she comes in, saves the day, and it ends with the promise that she'll teach Diana how to fight.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, Chris, what did you think of this one? Just this first part.
I liked it because we didn't see going back to the movie side. We didn't see this in the first movie. They showed tiny bits of this at the beginning of the second movie, poorly CGI'd, should I say? But that's neither here nor there. But I liked seeing the origin story because again, like you said, Kat, we haven't gotten much Wonder Woman stuff.
Right.
And so seeing her origin story of her being created out of the earth, and later, obviously we find out what that means.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed learning how Wonder Woman was actually born.
I agree. All of that backstory stuff I just found absolutely just so fascinating with everything.
Yep.
And just seeing the whole history of how everything came about was just really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I have amazing visuals accompanying all that too, as it told the history. And that's pretty much what the first chapter was essentially just telling the history, and then the last couple of pages shows young Diana. And so it was great to just have all those pages just focus on a whole history, and it was one of the things that I found the most interesting and fascinating out of this whole series, and definitely something I'd like to look more into.
Yeah, I like the backstories because I like knowing, if I don't know much about them, kind of where they're coming from with it. But, and like you said, going back to the movie, you don't get that. At least I don't get that, from the movie. They kind of just very briefly.
Right.
It's very secretive. In this, you actually get a way more in-depth look at it. And I appreciated that more from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. And I just also love how it was then able to just go out and see a bit of the beauty of Themyscira for what it was. Once you see, you automatically get the characterization of Diana right off the bat at a young age. and that she just wants to. She's adventurous and wants to find out what's wrong, since she has this feeling that something's wrong, but doesn't know what, and nobody else believes her. And so, just the beauty of it, like, specifically, I remember the end of the second chapter. There's this amazing shot of just her off the cliff, and you can see, like, just creatures far in the background of the ocean, and it's just beautiful of how they do so many of these shots here at Themyscira, and something else you don't really like see in the movies much either. Just the imagery of what you do see for Themyscira just isn't the same of the beauty that you see in this comic art.
Definitely. I think it's interesting too, like with the comic is, the mom, she knew right away that she was getting trained behind her back, basically. And in the movie, it seemed like, there's an age gap. Like she's already a teenager when she found out about it. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is something
she knew right away. She goes, yeah, I'm not dumb. I know you're going to do this. She's literally talking to the other woman that's training her. But then in the movie, it's kind of, oh, my sister betrayed me. So I thought that was a interesting little twist there for it.
Yeah. Speaking of that general, I thought it was, I liked her character from what we've seen. Obviously she didn't have much, and we'll get into more of her in the next block of issues, but right off the bat, whenever she just comes in and just slays this beast, it was really cool to see.
Yeah,
for sure. So
I agree with that. Yeah.
Anything else on the first few chapters?
I liked how the kids treated her. It was very authentic how they treated her as an outcast. It's how kind of those societies would treat people, especially ones that are connected to the quote the gods. So I really, it's like felt like I was a kid again, because I've been there. I think we all have as kids felt like the outcast. And so again, really good job of making the characters, being able to connect to the characters. I think that we've noticed that, Spencer, and the other stuff we've read so far, is that it's for a lot of the characters, we've been able to connect to them really well. And this is no different. Definitely,
Absolutely.
This story just overall really is able to give a good it really has room to breathe with all the different elements, and just being able to establish so many different characters, and there's just like relationship building in between all the characters like all the time, and that's primarily, I'd say, what the story is focused on, is the relationships with all the other people. And so it's definitely very character driven, for sure. Alrighty. So we'll get right into the next set of chapters here, chapters 4 through 6, which makes up issue 2. We get to see Diana start actually training. We see her struggle a bit with her training. And then we see a bit of a time jump after that, where we then get to see her a bit more grown up now. We get to see how some of the people are unhappy with the queen, and they're wanting her to step down. But with, Hippolyta, the queen, being Diana's mother, she's obviously doesn't agree with all of that. And so you have this whole dynamic in between them, and having their old disagreement here. And anyway, that makes Diana go off, do her own thing on the island, where you then see something crashes into the island. That turns out to be a man.
We
oh no!
I wonder which man could it be in a Wonder Woman story.
Who knows who man this could be? Anyway, there's this group of guards that comes by to investigate try to investigate this, but instead they end up fighting what was her name? Alcipe.
Yep, Alcipe.
Yep. They end up finding out that these soldiers were actually ordered to revolt against Hippolyta. And anyway,
by her sister.
Right. Yes. Do you remember her name?
No, I have it up here though.
I thought I had the name listed here, but I don't.
I've got it right here. It is Antiope.
Thank you. So Antiope then steals Alcipe's soul. She's sucked away.
And Melanippe. But Antiope is the...
Antiope's the main one. Right.
The main one, yep.
Yeah. And so anyway, Antiope sucks Alcipe's soul via this, like,
staff of Hades.
Staff of Hades, right. And so Diana witnesses all this and, finds out that they're allies with Ares now, the god of war.
Mm-hmm.
And so, after saying all that, she then takes whoever this mysterious man is, who knows who it is, into a safe place. And that's what happens in this second part. Kat, what did you think of this part of the story?
I thought it was kind of referencing back again, because I'm going to do this a whole lot with the movie.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's what we're doing the whole time.
Because I watched it with it, but I think it's really interesting that the sister's kind of the bad guy in the comic versus with the movie.
Yeah.
The sister's training Wonder Woman, Diana, and she's kind of doing this. So I think that dynamic switch, I really liked that. And can I just say that the creatures on this island are terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the stuff of nightmares.
Oh yeah.
Seeing those, I mean, like, oh look, it's a pretty horse. No. The teeth are that thing. Yeah. So I mean, but I just thought that kind of switch was like I wasn't expecting that kind of switch. So I liked that the sister's kind of like, oh, you got to watch out for why I really liked that she actually had something of Hades, just because I'm like, isn't he the bad guy? Is it like, what's going on with that? I was really intrigued with that.
Wow. Yeah, but in the movie, remember, it was Ares who they...
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, oh, it's that's all I'm just saying, is they switched it with it. But
a lot of switching.
Yes, it was definitely. I like the comic book version a lot better.
Oh, me too.
Definitely.
Like I said at the beginning, a better version of the movie.
Yeah, it's so much deeper. They have a lot more things, but yeah, I didn't mind this part. I'll say that.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Chris,
I'm gonna say that this part, this whole part was not. The time jump was cool. I like that because I was wondering, like, they're training. I'm like, how many issues are we gonna get? How many chapters are we gonna get?
Yeah,
they made sure to get that one chapter and all self-contain it to that well. And so, and like I said earlier, like, it's all builds on the characterization, and each chapter here specifically sort of focuses on some sort of different aspect. And so, and so with this one, seeing that whole training and her relationship with Alcipe, or even at the beginning of the next one too, of chapter 5, they really built up a lot on that in a really nice way.
Yeah, and then I like how once you get into chapter 5, you really start to get into the story's starting.
Yes.
Yeah.
The story is starting. Here comes Steve Trevor. And so the story is starting.
Right. And to Kat's point earlier, I did really like the fact of just how the threat comes in right away, with it being directly connected to the sisters of them actually being bad. There's this main couple, bad sisters, as we said, Antiope and whoever the other one was named. That was sort of like her lackey the entire time.
Melanippe.
Oh, I think they also missed an opportunity with the movie. Where's Pegasus?
Right. Seeing the Pegasus was great.
He helps, like, she's she's like carrying him on her back and stuff like that, and she's got the horse, and she's like, I need it out. Where's that in the movie? I mean, that's a great ally. That could have been awesome. Just a little nitpick there.
Well,
sorry.
And one thing that Spencer and I had discussed is that this would have been like, you know, as is all the discussions have always been about the DCEU and the Snyderverse, that they blew their load too quickly. And
that's a
this
great
could
way
have been
to describe that.
Well, and then this could have been a great like Wonder Woman 1 and Wonder Woman 2 kind of like set.
Instead of rushing
rushing it and putting it all into one movie. They could definitely put
this. Like, I just love to have seen more Themyscira just in general.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
it's very rushed. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, just the beauty that they just do for all the Themyscira stuff is just absolutely amazing. I love it so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
And yeah. Anything else as far as this one? So, yeah. So, Kat, anything else for this one?
No, you guys brought up other stuff I forgot to say. So, I covered.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a good chapter to help try to carry on what's next, and it just, as Chris puts it, really sets up what's to come next, and really is the start of the story. Right. And speaking of the next part of the story, issue 3, chapters 7 through 9, we then see Diana start taking care of this man, who we then obviously know as Steve Trevor.
Right.
But then later the guards find him, capture him, and then it's decided, there's going to be a tournament now to decide the fate of him, of where everybody wants him dead except for Diana, essentially. And so, anyway, Diana secretly enters it, then wins it. Diana is then given a role to lead the opposition against whatever these dark forces are that is plaguing this island, Themyscira. And so she takes Steve with her. However, before she leaves, that's when you see her get all her gifts, such as, her bracelets and the lasso of truth and her tiara.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, they get set off on their boat and then gets attacked by this ginormous sea creature. And then, quite a big sea creature. Anyway, it ends with her in the water right off the shore of Boston.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was I did not know that they forget things, like people that if they come to the island that they forget. That
they did cover that in the movie.
But I didn't. Because I read this first before I saw the movie, though.
Oh,
so I didn't know that little person. That was like, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay. So that I thought was a cool little like twist. I was like, that's gonna make things a lot harder to get through. Yeah. So I personally just like that little twist because I had not heard that before. Because like I said, I watched it after I read this, so I did like that little tidbit.
Yeah, for sure. And that plays a really interesting point, like later on, that we'll be covering too.
Right.
And they always hint at it throughout too, which we will, like I said, get into later as well. But that is a great point.
And who loves that they ride kangaroos?
Absolutely. I mean, I've always wanted a giant kangaroo to ride on, right?
A giant golden kangaroo. Fuck yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I also think this is like, I enjoyed her taking care, like her checking in, and like I felt like this is where they had a really nice, good bond. Versus like with the movie, it's just we kind of helped save you in the battle. Boom, we're connected. We have this huge bond. I think they missed a huge opportunity again with not developing kind of that bond. Even though he's gonna forget as soon as you leave. Still, I think they missed a lot with that because I really enjoyed this part.
Yeah, they really, like I said, that first chapter really focuses on their relationship of Diana and Steve Trevor together to help just pay off in the long run. And we didn't see we really didn't see a lot of like the relationship focus in the movie. As far as the movie goes, and what a movie should be, to its credit, is it focuses more on the epic scale of just the whole situation. However, I think at the end of the day, as we'll get later on, I think that more hurt the movie whenever you compare it to this story.
Yeah.
And so, Yeah. But yeah, definitely seeing that relationship was great, and just it really does help set up a lot of what's to come with more when you see Steve again. And then just the whole I like the whole imagery, but with the whole tournament here of it being all foggy and shrouded, and just the art here with this was awesome too, and just it was just done. It was just really cool, and just seeing Dinah just try to secretly just battle it out here, and then just you could tell that they try to cheat, and then it works against them, and just it's really cool just seeing how well that whole fight went down.
I wonder if some of the inspiration for this scene, or for at least the concept of Diana disguising herself, and yes, it's all women and stuff, so like she's disguising herself as a woman, still, but it gave me a very Eowyn in Return of the King feel.
Yes,
it really did.
I felt that too. Yeah.
Okay. Not just me.
No, I totally, because I could just picture her with her helmet on the field with the king and all that. I'm like, yep, nope, that's her.
I didn't think about that, but like, you're so right about that though. Like, that's a good way of putting it, for sure. Definitely. And just saying also, I really enjoyed seeing more of Antiope, just like her trying to make her things her way, because you could tell she has this whole agenda that she's trying to pull, and obviously that doesn't quite go her way in this time, because she's trying to get Steve killed for reasons.
Another missed opportunity. In the movie.
Yep.
Man, like, could imagine this scene in oh my gosh, this would have been amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
On the big screen.
Yeah. They really should have made it like a 3-part movie, or at least a double, something.
They could have definitely
their time
spent more time with it. And I think, as we'll get later, like talk about more stuff later on, it could have definitely made a good 2-part movie, I think. Because I think you see a bit of, whenever you think of this story overall, I see 2 main villains. And the first of those, I'd say, is Antiope. And we'll be getting to that second one later.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That character is cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I really liked her.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. Big Sea Beast was interesting.
That was definitely a cool.
I have a fear of the ocean, and that one shot where the waves, and you just those eyes glowing, and you just see the shadow, like that triggered stuff in me, because I don't do well with the ocean. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm uncomfortable. Let's skip it now. So I thought I actually really liked that shot, because it did make me feel some type of way. So I liked that one.
And then seeing Poseidon was cool.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I was just about to bring that one up. Yes. Poseidon was cool for sure. I really like. That brings a good point to where I just felt like a lot of the just gods in general are just more integrated into this too.
Yes.
The gods were more. They weren't really main players. They were just everything. Stuff still revolved around them, but they weren't exactly there. And that's a great way of how to just have this whole Wonder Woman universe be.
Yeah.
Especially for the story is, and that's obviously the biggest fault of the movie is having Ares there at the end.
Yes.
And so,
Yep.
Go on.
Well, it's kind of like the previous one too. And this kind of goes back to the further one, and I apologize for bringing this up now, but you see that giant guy.
Yeah.
When she's a little girl and stuff like that, like that, it enriched her surroundings, and they're alone, but they're not, and that really kind of plays in with the whole God thing. And so I, again, missed opportunity for all of that. So, but
definitely. And then we see her stranded on the shore of Boston, or off the shore of Boston. So that brings us to the next part, issue 4, chapters 10 through 12. Where we then see Dinah have a vision of somebody named Thomas Bide. Wonder who that is. Anyway, Anyway, and we see that this Thomas character is commanded to destroy some sort of enemy. Who knows? Anyway, she then wakes up. We see that she's safe in this old couple's home. She sets off and makes her way downtown into Boston, I believe, and that's where she sees this party going on to help support the troops. As we find out that this is set during World War II. Well, actually, you see that at the end of the last issue because it says Boston, 1944. But anyway, still set during World War II. You know, that's the common Wonder Woman mythos of when she comes in, and you know, just like the movie. Anyway, she then meets somebody named Etta Candy. Or Etta Candy. Anyway, she helps Diana trying to fit into this new world, and just sort of helps take her under her wing. And then Diana gets this other vision, expanding on what she saw earlier about this Thomas guy. But this time he has some sort of staff. And that really worries her because of a possible connection she thinks it has relating back home. Anyway. And so she then finds this newspaper that describes this, and then it's pretty much where it leads off into, because she's like, okay, we need to go find about this newspaper from like a sketchy newspaper full of like other like the sort of
tabloid.
Yeah. What exactly was in there? I don't remember, but it's like
some weird crazy stories about like Sasquatch.
Like Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Those sort of stories of seeing like Loch Ness Monster and Sasquatch, like those sort of stories you'd see in this, and she's trying to find the truth behind this story about some guy with a staff. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, the jewel. She heard about the jewel.
The jewel.
Yeah.
The jewel is what she heard about, which is her mother's jewel.
Yes. That's right. Anyway. But before that, she needs help blend again. And that's where it ends off with, and as far as this set of issues.
So, yeah. Well, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me go to the end of it again. Isn't the end of it right when she pumps?
The end of it is Etta being like, hey, this is you.
In the closet.
We're going to have to get you ready to blend in. That's why I have that as the last thing, because I wanted to make sure that's where we ended that.
Yeah. Etta. She's written a little too over the top. I know she's supposed to be. The name is too on the nose. Like Etta Candy. She's supposed to be sweet. Like, I'm not a fan of Etta. I understand why they have her in there. She's the connection to the real world to help her blend in. But she had some comical moments. But I think they could have toned her down a little bit.
Definitely.
She was a little much.
She was definitely my least favorite character out of this story. And that's not to say she was particularly bad. There was just a lot of stuff with her that I just didn't care for. And something I didn't bring up in this recap is you see this as a subplot line through like the whole rest of the series now, of where it's her against these like other like group of
the girls
of this other group of girls, and they're being the bullies to Etta, and they have this whole conflict always back and forth the whole time. And Etta's here trying to be the superstar, and they're always trying to wound up her being this group of superstars of Etta and her group of friends. And so all that drama between them, it's just like, come on, you don't, especially later on, it's like, you didn't need this drama all the way over back there.
No.
I didn't care for it as much. And so I just didn't, I don't know.
I struggled with this part with her. I honestly, I prefer the Etta in the movie than this version.
Yeah.
Like, because I know the actress from the Office UK version and stuff like that. Like, I love that actress. I liked her a lot better than this one. This one really irritated me. And I'll be honest with the whole like, oh no, it's those other girls. I was like, okay. I kind of like skimmed over it and I was like, okay, skip.
I think Etta would have been.
It was unnecessary.
Like all her drama was unnecessary.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I don't need any of that. Like, I can understand the part with the whole picture thing, and the billboard, and then that's her reason to go with Diana.
Yes.
Even though, and I apologize for skipping forward with it, but I can understand that. But the whole girls and the big, that was pointless. That does not help Wonder Woman's story. It doesn't further it. Maybe for Edda's story, but it's not.
We're not here for Edda. That's the thing. We're not here for
Edda. It's just I really struggle with that, and that one was hard for me to get through.
Yeah, sure. And then her story wasn't believable to like her origin. Like, oh, I didn't get along with my family. They wanted me to run the family business, so I ran away to college. Like,
that's how you paid for that.
Okay. That's true.
All right.
So I ran away to college. Like, you're a teenager. Like, what do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Teenagers are not going to run away to college. No. We run away from college.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm like.
My parents tried to make me go to college. I'm running away. You know what I mean? Like, we don't run towards it.
No.
Yeah, it was just it's too much.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we need to skip over this. Like, how many pages is this?
I think it would have just been better if they just cut out all that drama stuff with Edda. Because then you'd have all the main thoughts of her, the main focus of her character. Of being, helping integrate Nina. And some of those parts I thought were good. You know, you had, there was parts with her that was good, but there's just a lot of other parts with her where, like, half the time you didn't need it as much. And this goes for the whole story of where you just, it could have been condensed down into something better. But with the nature of this chapter storytelling of the chapters focusing on a certain part of a relationship per chapter, I find, you know, overall, you get to just see more Edda, and then you just see her relationship in between. Okay, she's either facing off against these other girls that annoy her and bully her, or just her against her family, which, like you said, is better, although it definitely could have had a better backstory.
Yeah, for sure. I think they kind of lost sight on that a little bit. It just, I felt taken out of Wonder Woman. Like, I got so immersed with the first 8, 7, whatever. 9, first whatever, 9. Whatever you want to call it. I got very immersed in the story, and I was like, wow, this is really great. And then I felt like I hit a wall, and it became
it was Edda.
Unenjoyable.
The wall was Edda.
Yes, it was Edda. I'm sorry, Edda, you were the wall, but it kind of derailed the story for me. The flow of it, the flow of it got ruined for me. Yeah,
derailed
absolutely.
Was perfect. Yeah,
okay,
for sure. Cool. I definitely felt like the story definitely really weakened with this and the next one.
Yes. Yeah.
But I definitely felt like it picked back up once we get into issue 6, and we'll get there when we get there. But I felt like issue 4 and 5 was the dip in the story, and then it gets better after that.
Yeah.
I have to say, going back to the beginning of these chapters in this issue, also, what was the point of those people finding Diana? And then I know giving the American flag thing really still, like, you and I talked about that, Spencer. Like, I'm really baffled by, I guess it was more the times back then, but back then, and I'm going to skip ahead here, how then they turn the flag into her costume. Yeah, like, if this was truly supposed to take place in Boston, in that area, during World War II, they would never desecrate a fucking flag. No. Never. And so, to me, the whole American flag plot line, that was unnecessary for me too. You didn't need to, like, I would have been happy if, like, they had found some bunting later in the thing and turned that into her. But, like, so
it didn't annoy me.
I just thought it was unnecessary.
Sure. I like the backstory with the flag that the old lady gave with it, you know, about her son and
that. Yes, that. Absolutely.
I really like that, and that's the reason of why I liked what they did with the flag. Well, that was interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure as far as that with the flag, but then I don't know. I think it creates an interesting idea. Maybe it would have. I think it could have been. I like your idea of where I think it could have been done better that way of finding part of a desecrated flag out in the battlefield, especially for when she develops her actual suit later on.
Yes.
But I do like this other idea of taking, instead of like a soldier's memory, to then be imbued in her
Yeah, but
costume.
a soldier, like, you're gonna get a lot of, like, and I'm not saying I'm angry or annoyed by it, but I can understand if you say, like, say a vet were to read this, that might make a veteran angry. And I know wrong channel, wrong. But it could, because I mean, this was written what, 2017, right? This was written alongside
2015.
2015
is when this was
15. Yeah, that's right. And so this is a fairly new run, and so to me, I think the word I used when we spoke about it before is interested in the reaction of how people might react, and what the reaction to that whole use of an American flag is, because of the history of what, and we're taught, don't desecrate our flag, blah, all this, living in the United States.
I mean,
you
true.
may, watching, you may be from a different country. I don't know. But I know in most countries, if it's your flag, it's respected,
True.
And so to me, it was a weird way to show respect to a flag.
Definitely. I that didn't come across in my mind when reading, but now that you say that I definitely see that point. It wasn't something I considered at all. I do like your idea more, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I still think they did a fine job with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was like, oh cool, they're gonna turn it into her skirt. And I was like, but that to me, like, it was an interesting choice.
Sure, definitely.
Yes, it's a gray area. Absolutely, it's a gray area. Yeah.
I do like their bickering though with each other though. That's a typical Nana and Pops kind of thing.
I
like that. That was fantastic.
I like that interaction with her, because that's like her real first interaction besides, the guy on her island. I do like that little kind of back and forth bickering, and then she's still taking care of the old man, wiping his face
at the end. Yeah, showing love, that there's love among people,
right? So even though they're kind of driving each other nuts, they still have that love. I do like that as her kind of first glimpse.
That's true.
Or second glimpse, I should say.
Yeah, because Steve Trevor's her first. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was just double checking that I don't have anything else to add to this issue.
No,
can I just say something real quick? I was not expecting to see a Bigfoot Nazi.
Right?
I was
just thinking, I was like,
I'm a big fan of Bigfoot. I fully believe in Bigfoot. I don't think Bigfoot would choose Nazis. That's just my opinion. But I was not expecting
You don't know.
Listen, if you watch Harry and the Hendersons, he's clearly not for the Nazis, okay? But yeah, I thought that part was interesting.
Sasquatch Nazi story win.
An alien shaking a hand too with this little that's pretty ridiculous, but it does go perfectly with the tabloids.
Yeah, it does. It does. It for sure does.
Yeah.
I don't think I really have anything else to mention for these, so I guess we'll go on to the next set. Chapters 13 through 15, issue 5. Where we now see Diana dressed up. She's downtown. Eda tries to showing her different parts of the town. She's trying to be like, oh yeah, us ladies like to do this and this and this. And she's like, no, I don't care about that. I want to go to this newspaper place. Yep. And so anyway, she starts talking to this writer who then details the story of a guy dubbed as the Duke of Deception. With his jewel on his staff who could raise the dead.
Wait, did you just say a writer? Is that what you just said? Did you call him a writer? Did you call Perry motherfucking White a writer?
Maybe.
Gosh. And yeah, you called Perry White a writer, and you forgot to miss it. Yeah, we'll talk about the other Easter egg in a second.
I was intentionally saving stuff here. Okay.
Sure you were. An author.
Anyway.
Writer. Jesus.
Anyway, so this Duke of Deception has a staff who can raise the dead. Dinah then comes to the conclusion that this Duke of Deception wears something known as the Heart of Betalis. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Anyway, which belongs to Dinah, which belonged once to her mother.
Yeah.
And so she wants to go find out what happened to this. And so anyway, Dinah then goes to watch a war flick because Etta takes her to it, and that just motivates her even more overseas and try to help with this battle going on. And then she comes across Steve Trevor in the streets, who has no memory of her at all, as we said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And he's all of a sudden dubbed this hero for missing and then just coming back, even though he did nothing else. But Steve then gives them the opportunity to go across the sea. So Diana, Etta, and Etta's ladies, because Etta has this whole thing of being a performer, and so Etta and her team of performers, they are there to try to help inspire troops, and then Diana's there to try to be a nurse as they sail across the sea.
Yeah, you know who else went with them?
Okay, this one I didn't catch. What is it?
Jonathan Kent. You didn't catch that?
Uh-uh.
All right. Page, what is it? Page 13 of chapter 14. Come on, Kent, it's time to go. Just a moment. And then you see him writing a letter. Dear Martha. Come on, guys.
Good catch for you. I didn't see that. I just didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Perry White and Jonathan Kent in a Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
In the same city, which doesn't make sense because Jonathan Kent is from Kansas.
Yeah.
And Perry White's in Metropolis, which is also the Midwest.
True.
So it's while I enjoyed the Easter eggs and the Perry White one, I can believe more, I guess.
Yeah.
But the Jonathan Kent one, there's a little too, but it was funny that they threw it. You guys didn't notice it. So they just kind of threw it in there because it's not believable that Jonathan Kent would be in the Boston area,
I was like, oh, I thought for a second, I was like, is that Superman's? Whatever. And then I was like, but then I was like, oh, whatever. And then I'm like, just reading it. I grazed right past it.
And it says, Dear Martha on the letter.
Wow. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I just completely glossed over that. I remember reading Kent, and I was like, okay, that I knew, obviously Kent, but I didn't look at it.
Maybe it's a relative or something.
I didn't, because now that you say that, I remember reading, oh, Kent, I know that name, but I didn't think of anything beyond that, thinking, oh, Kent, and so,
yeah,
okay.
But yeah, I thought the whole like you said earlier, Kat, the whole billboard vehicle to get Etta overseas was perfect. That was fine. But then again, this is also going into later chapters. They kept going with it, and I was like, all right, why are you still going with this joke? It's over.
Right, you already pushed her away. It's fine. And I was annoyed. I did think it was cute though that when she took her to the movie theaters, she was scarfing down the popcorn.
Yeah.
And then she's all freaking out. What is this sorcery?
Yeah. I did enjoy that whole segment.
I didn't think about it, oh yeah, she wouldn't know what
movies
were. What is this crap? What's going on? She knows what plays are, obviously, but this is that's booming technology for her.
Yeah. I did really enjoy that whole part, and that just helping her drive to want to go over there.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she has two big reasons now, and that just happened. So okay, reason 2 is why, reason 1 is where reason 2 is. And so Yeah. The whole characterization of Dinah building up, I just really enjoyed.
Yeah.
As far as that part goes, but as I said earlier, I don't think this was as bad as the last part, or weak as the last part, I should say, because I don't think it's bad. But like I said, I definitely thought the story dipped a little bit, and there's still just a bit of, I mean, the writing room was great, but then the Edda stuff that was better, but I still wasn't crazy over it.
Yeah, too much. Again, like we said, too much Edda.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit's fine, and you needed that. Why? What's her reasoning for leaving? She has no reason. Oh, the billboard thing. Okay, cool. Makes perfect sense. Great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're just beating a dead horse at this point with all the other stuff. Timmy. Like, it's just too distracting. Doesn't help it. Move on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that one billboard thing would have been fine, then just let her just be the side character later on. And we'll cover more into that later, but I don't really feel like there's much else to really cover here.
Well, again, more Edda. It was more Edda. So much Edda. It was crazy. Like, in the end, they end it with
Edda
with more Edda.
Edda and the freaking stupid other girls coming on the. Oh my gosh, my arch nemesis are on the boat that I'm going to Europe to perform. Like, it's just what a coincidence.
I skipped over this. I'll be honest. I kept seeing it. I was like, oh, cool. And I was just like, okay, let's skip to the page that they're not showing on. Oh, okay, I'll read that. I don't care about their banter back and forth. Great. You guys have a rivalry.
I mean, you didn't really miss much. Let's be honest here.
I know I wouldn't have. To me, it doesn't help anything. Like, it makes the, like I said earlier, it just derails it. The flow stops. I don't care for it, so I skip it.
Yeah, like, they had a conversation with Edda and Diana, but then all of a sudden they have this Edda and these women scene.
Absolutely.
And then you go into Diana being all like serious and like worrying, but then right before that, but right before that, you're distracted by this stupid conversation between Edda and these other girls.
Yeah, they should have had. She's looking off on the boat like she did. Edda comes talk to her, whatever, and then she kind of like drowns her out again and starts doing exactly that last page of it. That would have been fine. That would have not killed anything. You didn't need to add them showing up on the boat.
No, exactly.
So that's what I just don't like, is some of the generally the flow of this whole comic has been great, and I've loved it except for these parts. It's just it's honestly like I would end up like skipping it, and then I'm like, okay, it kind of ruined it for me, so I'd like take a little break from reading it because I was like, that just killed the vibe for me. And then I'd have to get back into it. So
alrighty,
great.
Yeah,
for sure. Anyway, so next we have issue 6 here, chapters 16 through 18. We here then see Dinah, Edda, and Steve. They're all in Normandy. Where, as I mentioned earlier, Diana's a nurse here. And so I really like the scene of where it opens, of where you just see her, or just the patients coming in and her just being a nurse for a bit, and then all of a sudden you see this patient who survived the attack from the Duke of Deception.
Yeah.
And so, he tells his side of the story from it, and then Dinah then sets off to go fight. She ends up fighting these zombies that's summoned from the Duke, and she then is faced with this choice after being of either, okay, you could either stop the Duke of Deception right now, or stop this horde of zombies that's going after other soldiers. So, being the hero, as any hero she saves the soldiers, and the Duke of Deception gets away, but now Wonder Woman is known as a hero. And then it's teased that she gets some new look. I wonder what new look that is.
The American flag. And I did like her first time using the shoes and everything, the Hades.
Yeah, well, just before that,
in general.
Definitely, like just before that, I love how the first issue was just showing her just trying to adjust into being nurse in the front lines of the war. And yes, I really enjoyed that whole issue.
Then did you really, with all that Edda? All that Edda?
My nemesis is performing at the ball.
Yeah,
I Diana too. Oh again, no.
Sure, go to the bar, hang out with get like Edda's job should have been in Europe should have been trying to get Diana and Steve together. Should have been an early job. But instead,
I meant like the first third of that thing.
Oh, you meant
I remember it being a little more of that, more of like being a bit more of that. I don't remember this part being as big, like, and that plays into it just not being as good.
But, yeah. It was like the first half of that chapter was good. With the whole the crossover between being in the ward and then them showing the battlefield and everything. Yeah, that was really good. Agreed.
Yeah. And then when she actually goes out into battle, oh yeah, was it?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, and then whenever you actually see her go out into battle, she's just in soldier gear and with her, all her different gifts on. You can see them. Yeah. Her bracelets are on. Her, what was it called? The heels of Hades, or not Hades? Of what were they called? That she wears on her feet that makes her fly.
Hermes.
That's it. I knew it was somebody else with an H, but I couldn't remember. And just all that different stuff. Before she sees the costume, and anyway, it's all cool, and I just really enjoyed all the action in between her and the zombies.
Yeah, that issue. Yeah, once you got past her, once you got into the fighting, the second and third issues of this were pretty good.
Yeah,
because it was her first interaction with what's his name,
Thomas Bine, the Duke of Deception.
Yeah, Duke of Deception. I'll just call him.
Yeah, that's why I've dubbed him as like the whole time too. And you see him wearing that amulet,
the Betalist. Yep,
and all that stuff.
And so the first time you see her using the whip and everything, it was definitely
very action packed.
Action packed.
Yeah.
That's why my description wasn't nearly as big, because it's just so much action here.
The end of this chapter, end of this issue, so the end of the third chapter, again, the first chapter of the issue, with the second half of that being like Edda, my arch nemesis. But at the end of this was where Edda was supposed to come into play as well, as make the uniform, design it for
a lot better.
Be the worrisome friend to show that, Diana is human still, and she has people worry about her.
Definitely.
So I liked this as well. And sure, again, I feel not weird, but I'm intrigued by the way, like, how other people feel about the flag thing. But again, how the costume is going to turn out, and obviously it looks great on paper.
For sure. For sure.
Again, another movie opportunity missed. Montage making the costume,
Yeah, it didn't really focus on that at all, right?
Isn't it in the movie just she literally passed it in the hall and stopped and looked at it again?
She just gets it, right?
Yeah, so it was already made. It was because that one doesn't have any stars on it, right?
No.
From when I remember, it just the coloring is the same.
Straight up Amazonian.
Yeah.
Costume,
just the red and the blue.
Yeah, she saw it at the museum.
And that's not how her costume was originally in the comics either. This is much more accurate. Like I said, this whole story is a modern retelling of the Wonder Woman origin.
Oh, okay.
And that's what this is saying. Yeah, this is what this is.
Yeah. I have to say though, she kind of looks ridiculous when it is.
Yeah,
fixing her up. I like her shoulder pad things, whatever. I was like, it kind of looks like Thor's cape holder. Like I was like, what? And then I thought she just looked a mess. I was like, this isn't going well.
Yeah, they could have had so much.
But I liked that though. I did like that little interaction with her, like you said. You know, I liked that versus the, oh no, it's my arch enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course the classic, oh, just put glasses on her.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Nobody will know.
The old DC trope, put glasses on.
Who are you? I don't know.
Great.
Certainly not that person.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly that person wears glasses, and clearly the other person clearly does not.
Yeah, that's it.
So it can't be. One is blind, one can see. Come on.
But yeah, overall that was just a great action-packed chapter of the story. I mean, definitely really picks up to end the second act of this overall story. That's for sure. And
yeah,
well, I guess we'll just get right into the next one now. So it begins with her saving the day in France.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman saving the day there. Anyway, so Diana then lets Etta try her boots for a little bit. Anyway,
goes so well.
right. She's great with the boots. She's quite the natural, I must say.
She is.
Anyway,
again, things we didn't need. Things we didn't need. It's almost as it's like Lois getting superpowers and going into a deadly fight. Things we didn't need.
I mean, honestly, if you look at Etta in the movie and how Wonder Woman is in it, there's no way Diana would let her try on those boots.
No,
I mean,
I didn't.
She like wouldn't even get rid of her sword. She's literally flinging her sword around in public. He's like, "Put it away, put it down, put it down."
Right.
She really thinks she's gonna let you try on her boots.
No.
I didn't like this part. I was like, why?
There's no
What is this
way.
doing? And just to find, oh, there's smoke over there.
Yeah.
Oh, and
just like, do you think
know,
Batman would let anybody try any part of his suit or
No. Yeah. And then just to find, and then all that just
share
to find
everything.
And that's to the next point of where they see all this smoke and it's like, oh, what's all this smoke from? Oh, and his backup ladies crashed a tank. It's like, what?
Yeah, that even then yeah,
it's
then
like,
you added that.
What?
Oh my god.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is this a thing?
Yeah, and I guess I'll jump ahead a little bit too when like, and then they're warriors somewhat.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to these. I do like meeting some of the Nazi assholes.
Yes,
and
we got to see a little bit of a
mercenary woman that's, or the I guess she's a socialite that's funding everything. Is she the person funding it all? Like,
I think
is that who she is? I think
I know who she is, but I'm trying to think
because
I'm not sure of her exact role.
I mean, I only really paid attention to her at the end.
Right. Yes. There's a big teaser theme. We'll get into that.
She wasn't that important to me
no.
in this part, so I was like, I'm not gonna really pay attention
I'll say
to her.
She didn't. Her character herself didn't click for me until the end with that tease, and then I go back, and now that I'm looking at these images over, it's like, oh, her clothing here really does.
Look
foreshadow what she's gonna be.
Yeah, but because she's rich, right?
I mean, that's what she definitely gives off of that vibe, so that makes sense.
But I'm saying her like in all like because where she wakes up at the end is in a nice fancy freaking bed.
I mean, it makes sense. So for her, someone to be like that rich person that helps, as Kat said, fund the stuff. Yeah, it makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, for sure.
Fucking cheetah.
Fucking
cheetah. Another thing they kind of fucked up in the movies.
You know what? We'll just carry on that. All right. So later on, so next in this part of the story, Steve Trevor briefly shows Diana how to fly a plane. Wonder what that connects to. Anyway,
Which that to me was good. I like that.
Yeah, I like that they set it up at least a little bit. Maybe could have had done a little more with it, I think, but at least something was there. But yeah, so and then she gets another vision where people are in danger in Athens.
Mm-hmm.
But turns out it is a trap from the Duke of Deception himself, who overwhelms Wonder Woman with the evil spirits and his staff. And so Wonder Woman's defeated there. And then we actually get this whole god interaction with Zeus calling down and sort of revealing a whole part of his plan coming together here. And he's like, okay, I'm going to have an offer for you, Diana. I want you to stop the Duke of Deception, but you have to let this Titan awaken in order to cleanse life on Earth.
We're going to restart the world.
We're going to restart the world, but Themyscira is safe. Go back to Themyscira, you'll be fine. Anyway.
But fuck all these people.
Right, exactly. And so,
they
anyway.
Don't matter.
And as we, Diana being the hero, she's like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing this. And so, because she refuses, she loses her power from all the gifts and whatnot, and she then just wakes back up as a mortal. And that's where this set ends. So much like the last set, after you get past that first chapter, the other two chapters really pick up.
Yeah.
Although I don't feel like this...
Because it doesn't have Edda.
Right. Well, I don't really feel like that first chapter really had any big redeeming aspects. Like, for me, I was like, okay, that hospital stuff really stuck out. But I guess... Was it at the end of the chapter 19 where the plane stuff was? Or was that at the beginning of 20?
Yeah.
Is it the end
of 19?
Okay. So that was the one good part, but that wasn't as big overall as the whole hospital
The whole
stuff.
Zeus thing, though, was 21.
No, the smoke... at the end of the smoke is the first... in 19.
Zeus is 21, though.
Yeah, 19, 20, 21. Hold on. Maybe I got my numbers mixed up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, 19, 20, 21.
19 could have been better because that was all the Edda stuff. Yeah. It ends with that smoke. You go to the beginning, and then you go to the middle chapter 20 to find out, oh, it's this tank. Okay.
Yep.
And then you see how them have that whole moment. Oh, and there's that whole moment of where you see Wonder Woman, this like Wonder Woman emblem or picture on the side of the plane, and Steve helps explain, well, why is she on the side of a plane?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and so it's really, and so I enjoyed that of seeing, trying to just explain of, okay, well, you're our hero now, you're important to us, and I think whatever you think on it, it really helps play into this whole part of, oh, okay, Wonder Woman's important to these people, she's not going to just let them die.
Yeah, and it's great that it's very on point that it's all a game to the gods, essentially, as well.
Yes.
So, and that's very, very on point. I like it.
Yeah. Which I think is I didn't really feel that from the movie either.
No, not at all.
And I liked that in this. It gave it more. Here's another little nitpick. Why did she not fly in the movie?
She did.
When? I don't remember her flying. She just rode the horse a lot. I don't remember her flying.
At the end. It was at the end.
Oh, yeah, but come on. She's flying now, though.
I know. Well, that's the thing. Yes. They missed the boat.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she flew a long time ago. Like that. Just
yeah, they only showed her fly at the end of the movie. That's
I know.
True, yes.
Let's go ride my horse. Woman, you fly, okay? It's your invisible jet.
Your invisible jet.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen the Family Guy episode? Speaking of Wonder Woman Invisible Jet, there's a Family Guy bit where they show her Superman's flying alongside. Yes, and Superman goes, I didn't see you wash your hands there.
That's funny.
So funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just the whole plane coming together is great. I liked seeing the imagery of the whole fight in between, instead of like zombies, like last time when she fought Duke of Deception, instead this time it's more like these spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was cool. And then just the whole Zeus backstory of everything, and he's like you said, just the way that the gods are integrated is great. And it's a really interesting way that I feel like that they're just integrated into this. Like I said, is like they're the main driving forces of it all, but they're not players, like main like players in the story that you see overall, like characters that you like actually see.
Right.
And this is the most you get of it, is of Zeus actually talking. Everybody else is, they're just have their parts of it.
Yeah.
Well, and then we also saw El Cipe warning her, which was cool. And
I liked that.
That whole, like, because remember, her soul was just sent to Hades, I think, right? Wasn't that what it was?
It was like an in-between.
Or is in limbo. It's in a place in limbo.
That's
we see
right. That's right.
We see that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's a huge it just adds so much more. Because you see so much more in the beginning, and then it just kind of continues. I think they really messed up a lot with this movie. So I'm really irritated about it. I shouldn't. I mean, it came out how many years ago, and I'm just now knowing about this, but it's irritating to me.
I had seen Wonder Woman in 2017, and so now I'm irritated because I'm like, man, so many missed up. But I was never a big Snyder fan, because of that reason. Is he had this grandiose idea that was his, and he didn't care what he did to the source material to get to his ideas.
Yeah, and you gotta respect the story, though.
You gotta respect the source material.
You know what I mean? Like you only have this movie to do because of the original, the source, where it came from. You gotta respect that.
And it's been
you wouldn't have had this to make if it wasn't for that. Like why? So I
would like to go back and read the original that this was a reboot of. This was a reboot of too.
I'd have to figure out exactly what those were, but
to see, like, then again, like we've seen the movie. For me, it's kind of backwards. For you, Kat, you did it then the movie.
Yeah.
But then going back to the original and seeing, okay, between the two comic runs, which one's better, and how much really did the movie fuck it up from the original? Because this was written kind of
right around the time when the movie was
same time as the movie was written. So so they both used the source material of that original run.
Right.
So
what was that? Because I know when you do a search for it from this thing, and it comes up with that other one. Was that one? Did that say it was from the 80s, or is that the one from the 40s?
That's a good question.
Because I know when you do a search for it, I saw it earlier and I was like, oh, and then now I can't remember what year it said it was from.
I will look that up.
I'm sorry.
1986.
No, yeah.
Okay, 86. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'd be interesting. So it'd probably be not that bad of a read as well, And so again, something we go examine down the road to kind of compare the three. And have we gotten word of? There's no word of a Wonder Woman movie for Guns DCU yet, is there?
All we have is Paradise Lost, which is a show.
Oh, that's right.
And that's one of the things I'd actually like to cover here later on is that Wonder Woman Historia, where that's like the main Wonder Woman stuff that we have so far of what actually covers the whole history. And but as far as Wonder Woman herself, no, and that's a whole other discussion as to why I don't think we have anything yet. But we'll just leave it at that.
But so again, great. Cut out the Edda stuff. It's great. Great three chapters.
And then more Edda.
Well, and the thing now is that I think what we're going into now when we move into the next three is, since she is, I guess I'll use the word muggle or normie, you have to have a little more Edda because she's not Wonder Woman anymore.
Right.
So anyway, and then I'll segue Spencer into introducing the next ones.
Absolutely. So for the next one, issue 8, chapters 22 through 24, it starts with Diana at a gala with Steve. Edda's, getting ready for her stage performance. Since that's her thing here.
Okay, maybe we didn't need all this. Oh no, my nemesis.
Oh no, my nemesis is here. Oh no, what am I gonna do? Oh no. They rigged the schedule to where we're not ready now. Oh no, this drama that we definitely care about.
Yeah, no.
And so, last minute thing, so then, we're gonna have this little boy named Alfred Pennyworth. I wonder who that is.
Oh, that's right. Oh my god.
I wonder who that is that's gonna help put on this stage show.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then all of a sudden, Steve is abruptly called to go into the war.
Yep.
To help carry troops in the battle where this Titan is, for this big final showdown. And so then Diana and the ladies then go find an old plane to fly. Oh, I wonder. And then Diana starts.
Her plane.
Right.
Because it's her marker on it.
Right. Anyway, Diana, the
Diana sings.
Yeah, so anyway, Diana.
Skip that part, sorry.
Right, like that's important. Anyway.
It was a highlight.
Anyway, Diana then starts piloting. I wonder how she learned how to pilot this. Anyway, discovers that it has this magical red button on it that makes it turn invisible.
Except for who's inside it. It's just I
right?
never understood the invisible plane.
I just like how they're literally all standing there staring, and the pilot's just like, nothing to see here.
It's literally just like, okay, let's fly this thing midair, and they're like, what's this weird do not press red button do?
No, of course they're gonna press the red
button. How can you see the controls?
Oh, we're invisible now.
Oh my god, right? How can you not? It's like,
and keep in mind this is only a few hours of like flight training.
Yeah,
at most.
Well, I mean,
come on.
I mean, she is Wonder Woman,
right? Themysciran of like old ways. All of a sudden, they learn new technology. All of a sudden, with an hour of training.
Doesn't she have superior? Didn't she have superior intelligence when she was taught?
I mean, sure, she could.
Isn't that one of Wonder Woman's? Yeah.
I mean, she is half god, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
tis a demigod.
She's got to be good at something.
Because she's not good at everything else,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's really not. I mean, you should just be regular woman.
And then,
oh my gosh,
I mean, all of a sudden, Etta and the Holiday Girls are all
get into
expert marksmen.
We'll get into this of where they then, they go right into this battle here. Right around this mountain, big ice mountain where this Titan's at. Diana gets this vision of the Duke of Deception, where he's at the Titan, and he's then trying to awaken it. And then all of a sudden, both Diana's and Steve's planes both get hit. They're all free-falling, and then all of a sudden, this voice then calls down to Diana to awaken her spirit. All of a sudden, this Cloud Pegasus then swoops down and saves everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Diana then enters the mountain where the Titan is held, and finds the Duke of Deception there. And there she uses the lasso of truth. It is revealed that Ares was lying to him the entire time.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right? And then he refuses to awaken the Titan. And then, here's her name. Priscilla Rich enters and awakens the Titan.
Yep.
And that is where issue 8 ends.
Yeah.
So, really picks up, really sets up the whole last bit. But yeah, as you said, though, the ladies just all of a sudden start fighting now, This ragtag performing team of ladies are great with machine guns now.
And they're so on board with it.
Right?
We got this. It's all good. Oh, we're in war. It's fine.
Because you want to trust them with high-powered machine guns after they crashed a tank.
Yes.
Well, don't you guys know the rule that if you're a good singer, you're automatically good with weapons, right?
Right.
I mean,
how could I forget about that?
Yeah, very, very key.
How could we forget about that? I feel so silly now.
It's okay. That's why you invited me today.
Man, I wish I had gotten my degree in singing ammunitions.
Exactly. I mean, well, you should have run away to college, Chris.
Yeah, I should have when I was, during World War II, run away to college.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why Ed is smarter than all of us.
Yep, that is. Yep. And she's going to outsmart her arch nemesis, and her parents and their hair removal cream business.
Alright, yeah.
Well, on a better note, I do love that Pegasus showed back up.
Yeah, essentially is.
I mean, I thought that was great that he came back. So I mean, that's a plus for me. I've always liked the story of Pegasus, so I'm all for that. But
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Titan confused me when I first saw it.
Yeah,
that's what I was expecting.
Well, we get more into what is next issue, but we'll talk about that then.
Well, I'm saying at the end of
what it is, not expecting what it is, right?
Yeah,
no, it's not what I thought either. And then what it ends up being, we'll get into that next.
Yeah, what it ends up being is cool. I agreed. Yes.
I agree. And maybe when I first saw it, it should have more clicked with me of what it actually is, because we'll get into that in a moment. But it didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But but yeah, the whole battle. There's some really cool scenes of them actually around, on the battlefield, or flying around in the battle.
Mm-hmm. Despite Edda and the girls being expert.
I said imagery, not the story behind it.
Okay? Oh, right. Gotcha. The art. I will say the art was good.
Yeah, like there's this one of where it's like partially, like losing its invisibility, but it's partially there, and there's just all these planes all around and the explosions all around. I love that shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so some of it's really cool. And let's see who you're talking about when you first see the Titan. Let me find that. But yeah, there's really. Oh yeah, I see that face of what you mean. And seeing all the spirits, and that's what makes everything crash.
Yeah.
And just the Pegasus coming back. And just what beautiful imagery of the Pegasus, too. Is fantastic. And setting up the Pegasus. And, you get the Pegasus set up in, like, Chapter 2. When you first see the Pegasus as well. And so it's great to see how early parts of all the obscure stuff, other than just Wonder Woman's drive of why she's here, other parts of it all being full play here. Something that obviously the movies didn't really have. So,
missed opportunities.
Yep.
And so, and then just the whole twist at the end of Ares, is all Ares just being pure evil, which is just Ares, right? Mm-hmm. And him, taking Thomas's mind here, due to deceptions. And now he's like, I'm not sure I want to do this evil stuff anymore. And then, what's her name? I already said Priscilla.
Yeah, Priscilla Rich.
Priscilla Rich. She
just call her Cheetah.
Cheetah. She's not Cheetah yet, though, right? She's Priscilla for now. She will be, not yet. But anyway, Priscilla then comes in and does the job herself. She's like, "That's fine. I'll do it myself. I'll awaken the Titan."
Yeah, all right, that's where Thanos.
She kind of looks like Emma Stone.
She does.
Yeah.
Yeah, really not much else to say about that. Those three.
No.
I love his like Captain Obvious moment. It could not be stopped after all. Thanks. Yeah, good.
All right. But yeah, you're right. It's not much else to say. Anyway, on to the next. All right, so for the last set of 3 issues, chapters 25, or not 3 issues, 3 chapters, chapters 25 through 27, which is issue 9. We see the Titan. Well, technically this is the end of the last, but also begins with this Titan busting out of the mountain, starts marching towards the Allies. Dinah wakes up in this sort of whole mental plane where she then starts speaking with Gaia.
Yep.
And then Dinah,
Mother Earth.
Right. So they have this whole awesome conversation. Dinah then awakens to tells, and let's see here. Yeah, she wants Diana to awaken, and she then tells the story of how the gods wiped out life on Earth before. And then it turns out, here's the twist, that the Titan is a manhunter. Which I loved. We'll get into that in a bit. Anyway, that was sent to Earth to destroy it. And so anyway, Gaia then officially dubs Diana here as Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman then wakes up with this new power of Earth. She then confronts Titan, aka a manhunter, And so we have this awesome, huge fight sequence between the two. Absolutely love that. Just the whole fight between the Manhunter and Wonder Woman, and she goes right into its heart, to this heart of pure evil, and just tries to destroy it, or does destroy it. And it like lets out this big signal. Goes back to where we see Hippolyta seeing it and being like, "Oh yay, I know my daughter's doing all well now." Anyway, but then we just see Wonder Woman leave. She does her own thing, and then this is where we get all sorts of other teases, as we said mentioned earlier, where we see Priscilla Rich then start turning into Cheetah, and then Thomas, Duke of Deception. He starts see him in like this moment of solitude of where he's then trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do from this point, as he has all these evil powers now, but doesn't want to quite be evil. So we'll see. Well, we won't really see what happens next. But
no, we won't. No,
we'll get into that in a bit. But anyway, but then we see something with this old woman. I wasn't quite sure who this was. But there's this old woman in the sky with all these other manhunters that look like that she may be under her control. I didn't quite get that one. But anyway. And then we see a time jump of where then Etta then finds Diana on this island. And then ends asking her a favor if she's ever heard of Gateway City. Alright, so I just gotta say, right away. The whole twist that this is a manhunter, and I should have seen it at with the moment I saw like a face or something. I can't believe it didn't take this long for me to realize it was a freaking manhunter. And once we got to that twist, I was like, holy crap, this is so cool that it actually integrates Green Lantern history and lore into it. And it makes sense once you know the history of Green Lantern. I'd love to cover all this once we dive deep into Green Lantern, which is something I really want to do. But a whole part of it is, before the Green Lantern Corps was established, there was this whole sort of essentially army of like robot-like beings called Manhunters that then went around and to try to serve as protectors of the universe, but then something switched into them to where they all went evil, and so this was one of those, but trapped in the ice, and because it's trapped in the ice, it's just stuck there and can continue its goal of destroying Earth. And so just that whole, with me being such a huge Green Lantern fan, I mean, Green Lantern being my second favorite side of the DC universe, it was just fantastic to see. And I just love that whole Manhunter twist. And so, like, I literally had, like, a big geek out moment where I was like, holy shit, this is a Manhunter? And not only that, you then see Wonder Woman fighting against the Manhunter here, and it's just, I loved it so much. And then, as you said earlier, that whole thing with Gaia was great, too.
Yeah, I have to say, these last 3 chapters, I mean, I've been pretty impressed with the artwork, but these last 3 for me, I really just enjoyed. I thought they did an amazing job with it. Like, yeah. I felt so immersed with it from the artwork alone.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated these last 3.
I really felt like the art and the story just really hit really hard here at the end. To
that Gaia backstory, man.
Yeah, that whole backstory,
so
cool. The whole fight, and then having all the teases for what could be cool if there's more stuff later. Yeah. Which we'll get into that in a moment, but.
Again, missed opportunities.
Missed opportunities. Right.
That's what you should have named this episode. Missed opportunities.
Missed opportunities.
That's a good it's a good name. I like it.
But this was a really enjoyable way to end it, I thought. I was like, I couldn't wait to read the next page. Yeah. I completely had fun with this and just enjoyed every second of reading it. So.
I mean, everything prior to this did a great job with setting up, other than all the stuff as we've, I feel like we're just beating the horse at this point, but other than all the stuff with Hedda, everything else was just done so well prior to this moment, where it really made this finale just really hit home. And it was great. And like I said, just like the whole build up to the Titan that we got the entire time, and then the twist. Yep. And like I said, as I already said, it's just like that was such an awesome twist that I was just like, wow, okay. I just really like that whole sequence.
Yeah, it's the idea that they were AI that turned is very, very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, once we get into Green Lantern stuff, which is something I'd really love to dive deep into, we'll definitely be getting into a lot of that Manhunter backstories and whatnot, and all the other stuff. But anyway, that is another episode later on. So, but yeah, great finale, and then with all these 9 issues being the updated origin and establishment of the Wonder Woman character. Not only that, it then just naturally brings these teases as comic book stuff does of what's next. And so it was cool. It did a job there of saying Priscilla, Cheetah, yeah, it makes sense now. And then Dig a Deception, who knows what's next for him. And like I said, I still don't understand who that old woman in the sky was.
I'm looking it up. I'm trying to look it up right now.
All right. But yeah, some old lady with manhunters. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this finale? Issue 9?
No, I think we pretty much just said it. Like, I just can't say it enough. Like, it's just, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. The artwork was, again, beautiful with that. Like, I'm kind of just repeating myself, but I was really impressed with how they ended it, because sometimes, they can fall short. Yeah. But I didn't feel cheated. I didn't feel like it did that. I felt like it was just a great way to end it.
Absolutely. It was really good. And I enjoyed just seeing just the art in general, like you were right.
Yeah.
And it's one of those comics, too, that where the coloring of it just really stands out, and it has a very unique coloring style to it. And I really did enjoy just how much a lot of the art pops out.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think it's really prominent here that, like, this husband and wife duo is, like, they did a really great job working together on this comic, and you can tell that they just really bounced off of each other really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt harmonized, minus my irritation with Etta.
Right.
But it's still they did a great job with it. They should be very proud.
Yeah. Well, I guess this will just bring us right into what's after this. So this is known as Volume 1, these first 9 issues, or 27 chapters. They were planning on doing a second and third volume.
Yep.
However, they got canceled since Ray Dillon, who did all the coloring, inking, and lettering for all this, he then got fired after speaking out against DC due to their creative choices that they made with some other Wonder Woman projects at the end. Specifically, Wonder Woman Earth 1, which is Earth 1's a whole other universe. And another story called The Odyssey of the Amazons, not one I'm familiar with. And so they just both left after that, because I mean, it makes sense, if you're married, then obviously if one goes, then the other one's going to leave too. And so, but then the writer, Renee DeLiz, she then later posted on her Twitter, over time revealing bits of more pieces of what was planned. And so in addition to the teases that we saw, there's other stuff planned, such as obviously there's Cheetah we saw, but then there's other villains such as Blue Snowman, Giganta, and Circe planned to also appear. There might have been a little more information released here and there, but those are the main bits as far as what you could have expected from villains for, I don't know, let's see here, 54 more chapters of this.
Yeah, and instead it looks like they did a special, edition.
So they did do some sort of special that also, where they had some story tie into this too. I didn't quite figure out what that was, but there is some other little story that did tie into all this, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that old woman just referred to as the darkness, it seems, but I can't find any other like I even
Think about her.
snipped the
Yeah.
image and did an image search and nothing.
Interesting.
So, weird. We'll have to
Who knows?
dig deep into that.
If anybody knows, comment down below.
Yeah, that'd be great to know.
That would be cool to know, yeah.
Yep.
So. All right. Is there any closing remarks on this?
No.
No?
No, this was just really enjoyable to read. Minus a few parts.
Right.
But I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. So
absolutely. All right. Chris, where could the people find you?
Head on over now to twitch.tv/thegreenfellas. We're gonna be doing our streams over there from now on, because a lot more stuff we can do to interact with you all over there and have a lot more fun.
Absolutely.
With the interaction, since we are primarily live streamers over on the Green Fellas. Spencer always hangs out with us there. He is a green fellow too, and Kat's always in the chat, and she is always welcome on as well. You are always welcome to come hang out, but I know when we stream, you are often occupado with the kiddo. So
yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate the open invite though.
Yes, absolutely. So whenever. Yeah. And then also you can check us out on Twitter at Greenfellas. And then also my personal Twitter is at Pyron Knight.
Links to all that will be down below.
Yes.
Kat, is there anything you have that you want people to know?
Read it. Read this. I think it's a missed opportunity if you don't. Yeah. Listen to these guys. Follow Mr. Spencer here he's doing awesome things, and I know you got some more projects coming up in the future that I'm excited for you. And Thank you. With the Green Fellas, follow them. They're awesome guys. So yes.
Excellent. Appreciate all of that. Thank you for coming by for episode 3 of the Comic Club, where we covered The Legend of Wonder Woman. Until next time.
Thank you for having me.
And be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell, all that cool YouTube stuff. Share this around, and I will see you all next time here in the Dingus Den.